What is going on, everybody? Today we are talking about the efficiency of my new wheel and tire setup that I got back in the beginning of February. So when you're measuring efficiency of a car, especially an EV, there are a lot of factors that go into it. One of them, you can see it's now raining pretty hard. It wasn't just a minute ago, and navigate on autopilot is turning off. And things like the wind, the temperature, the speed you're going, uphill, downhill. There's a lot of factors. Traffic around you, if there's a car in front of me, like if I was to follow a semi for 10 miles, I'd get a lot better range than if I'm driving like this for 10 miles where nobody's in front of me. So what I've done is I've been using these tires. You can see here this new wheel and tire setup for 2,800 miles about. So even right now, see here, we're going up this hill and you can see my energy usage is just going crazy. So I'm going 70 miles an hour, which if you watch the channel, you know, for me is really slow, especially with the quarantine going on. There is almost no traffic. And so everybody's been going really fast. You can see I'm getting passed even though this is the speed limit. But that's no problem. I'm normally driving these days about 80 miles an hour. And that's normal for around here. I know some people think that's crazy, but that's a normal speed. I still regularly am passed at that speed. I do pass some people. But anyway, today I wanted to go a bit slower. I wanted to go 70 because I wanted to see if this high number I'm seeing is because of my high speed. And it turns out it's really not. You can see here, I'm getting right now 340 watt hours per mile since I started this drive. This one, I'm looking at the 5 mile here. So I've been on the highway for over 5 miles. I've had autopilot on the entire time, like I always do. And you can see my average is right around 330 watt hours per mile. So if you're not familiar, that's not very good. That's a lot of energy usage. And again, it's raining and rain does make you use more energy, but this is about what I'm seeing when I'm going faster. Around 320 to 340 watt hours per mile is what I'm seeing daily. And a few things go into that. It's not just the wheels. It's the wheels and the tires. I think actually the tires are more important than the wheels because the tires are what's gripping the road. And if they have a lot of grip, you know, that's a good thing because it means your car's gripping the road, you have better traction, it's better for performance and all these things, but it takes a lot more energy also to move those tires. And so the tires that come with a Tesla vehicle, and I'm sure other EVs also, are low rolling resistance. And they put these on there because, you know, as the name implies, there's less friction there. You get much better efficiency with these kind of tires. Now, when I bought the ones I bought, they weren't cheap. It's not like I bought the cheapest tires I could find, but they also weren't the most expensive. And I did not get low rolling resistance. It was difficult because I didn't feel like I had all that many choices. There were a couple like ridiculously cheap tires that I wasn't gonna buy. And then there were a few tires that were just super expensive and not so much in the mid-range. It took me a long time to pick what I wanted, but I ended up going with these Vogue tires. The few reviews I could find were good. And overall, I would say I'm actually really happy with them. The noise is really good. The ride comfort's fine. It's not exceptional. It's not like it's way better than the tires that came with the car, but it's good. It's not worse at all. I would say it's around the same, and I was always happy with it anyway. Now, thinking about the wheels, these wheels are a lot lighter than the stock Aero wheels. They're about 30% lighter or so, but even though these new wheels look very nice, they're a lot lighter. I like them a lot. They have a disadvantage in that they're not as aerodynamic, of course, as the Aero wheels. And that's kind of the whole point of the Aero wheels. I didn't really mind the look with the caps on, but when you have that plastic cap on, the air can go past your wheels a lot easier than a wheel like we have now or a normal wheel on a car because the air can kind of go in and out of those wheels. Well, with the Aero wheels, that smooth surface allows your car to be a lot more slippery going through the air and gives you a pretty big efficiency boost. Now, another option with these Martian wheels is you can actually get them thinner. So when I bought them, I thought I was gonna take the stock tires that came with my car and put them on these Martian wheels. So I went with the same stock size, the same width, the 8.5 inch width. But unfortunately, by the time I got the new wheels, I'd put too many miles on the tires. And I could have switched them over, but they were kind of ready and Discount Tire was gonna give me some money for them. So I decided to get some new tires. Now, if you've seen the YouTube channel, Out of Spec Motoring, they also got these same wheels that I got, except they got the 7.5 inch width. So their tires are a bit thinner and that gives you much better efficiency. There's less tire contacting the road, so less friction. Now he has a performance Model 3 and he had the 20-inch tires, and he went down to these way lighter 18-inch tires, and they're thinner, so his efficiency skyrocketed. And after seeing that, I kind of wish I would have gotten the thinner tires, and I definitely would have bought them for that efficiency boost, but like I said, I thought I was going to move my old tires over. So I have a lot more data on this. Let's go to the computer, and what I've done is I've taken drives from when I had my aero wheels back in the beginning of the year. So these drives are in January, and then I took data from after I put these wheels and tires on, and you can put in parameters on Teslafy to say that you want to compare similar drives. So I took drives, I only did drives from home to work, so it's the same route every time, and then I put in a temperature. So all of the drives are between, I think I put like 30 and 50 Fahrenheit, but like I said earlier, there are a lot more variables that aren't accounted for. And one of the biggest things is with this quarantine, I'm going to go faster now that I have my slow data that doesn't seem to be that much worse. Now with this quarantine, there's like no traffic, which, don't get me wrong, is really nice. I get to work and I get home way faster than before, but it's a disadvantage in efficiency because there's no cars around. I am pushing all the air out of my way by myself, whereas normally I'm surrounded by cars. So number one, they're pushing the air for me. They're helping me push that air out of the way. And number two, I can't go as fast. So I'm going slower than this, and my drives would be a lot more efficient before. So there have been so many variables switching between these new wheels and the old ones, but I'm pretty confident at this point, you know, almost 3,000 miles, in saying that this setup is way less efficient than before. And it is a bit of a disappointment for me. I do like having the best efficiency I possibly can, but overall I really like the wheels, and it's not that I wouldn't do it again. I do like the wheels a lot, and I can feel a little bit on takeoffs and turning and things like that. That auto lane change unavailable, what the heck? I can feel the lightness of the wheels. It does feel a little different when I'm trying to be squirrely and I'm trying to, you know, launch and do fast things like that. So I like the feel there. But next time when I get tires, when I get new tires, I am most definitely gonna look for low rolling resistance as long as they aren't too expensive. I think I can get some for a good price. So let's check out this other data I have and kind of compare it and chart it out and see how much less efficient these tires and wheels actually are than the stock aero and tire wheel setup. Okay, so here's the data. As I was editing this video, I realized I wasn't very clear why I compared to out-of-spec Motoring's thinner tires. We both have the 18-inch. The surface is the same shape, so of course the aerodynamics are the same on both, but because he has less tire contacting the road, his efficiency is better. So I think that's why I'm not blaming the tires so much. I'm not blaming the wheels. I'm more blaming the tires. So I'm going to get better tires next time. But let's take a look at this data. So if you look here at the top, these are my aero wheel drives. I didn't have a whole bunch. January was really cold. So these are the only drives I had to work that were between 30 and 50 Fahrenheit and fit the criteria I was going for. And these are the Martian wheel drives. I didn't take data until I had somewhere around 1,000 miles on the tires, maybe a bit less than that, just to kind of break them in. So let me clean this up. There's a lot of information in here we don't really need. So I'm going to get rid of cost to drive. Don't need that. Kilowatt hours used, I don't care about that. Battery percent we can keep. Average speed is probably important. Efficiency, of course, we want. Watt hours per mile we want. Ending odometer we don't care so much about. Starting odometer we don't care so much about. Rated miles used, don't care. Miles driven, don't care, but this one says 26. It's very strange, so we'll get rid of that. We don't want that to mess us up here. Driving time is important. So if we look at these, most of them are 36 to 40 minutes, maybe 48. So we have a 57. This is definitely an outlier, so we'll get rid of this one. And the rest we'll keep. And then here, you can see these are all quarantine times. So like 31 minutes. These are all much faster than what we're comparing up here. So we'll get rid of this 31 minutes. I wish that was my drive every day, but it's all right. So we don't want it here. 33, just get rid of some of these. Okay, and then these start, end time, date things. We don't care about any of that. So this is the information we want to see. We just want to look at, again, temperature. I know they're all about the same. We want to look at drive time. We want them to be kind of similar because that means we were going kind of a similar speed. We had the same amount of, traffic. So if we look here, we can say that for arrows, we can take the average of the watt hours per mile here. And there we go. So we had about 300 watt-hours per mile, which makes perfect sense. I would see anywhere when I was driving with my arrows between 280 and 320. I mean, those were the two numbers I saw the most, I felt like. So that's the average for the arrows. And then we can do the same thing here. We can do the average of watt-hours per mile of the Martian wheels. And yeah, we are at... that is too many numbers. Yeah, so we're at 328. And if we look at efficiency, get rid of all these numbers. So here you go. These are our averages here on the screen. So average watt-hours per mile for the aero wheels, just again, out of these drives, is 296.4. And efficiency was 76 or 77. And again, these are in the winter, so my efficiency is pretty low. In the summer, this number, this efficiency percent, it's probably closer to 90 or something. And for the Martian wheels, in similar driving conditions, not exactly the same, you know, this doesn't account for whether it was raining or not, but pretty close, is 69.7%. So we're seeing about a 7% difference here, maybe 8% difference in efficiency, an 8% drop. So you could say that's going to cost you about 8% more in electricity if you get not very good tires. Okay, so I was just playing with some stuff, but that's all. You can see it graphed here if you care. But anyway, yeah, so I'm going to definitely get low rolling resistance tires next time I have to get tires, which hopefully won't be too soon. But these do have a huge warranty on them, like 60,000 miles, I believe, which is a big reason why I picked them. So anyway, if you're interested in the wheels, I love them. I think especially if you get those thin ones, I really wish I would have gotten the thin. You can pick them up. I have a discount code in the description, 200 bucks off your order. Let me know if you have any questions. I hope you enjoyed this one. This is kind of fun to play with some numbers. If you enjoyed this, hit like, get subscribed, and you will see me in the next video.